So you want to be a fly fisherman? Man, you came to the right place. This is the video for you. So we're going to discuss today about fly fishing. This is not really going to be a how-to video, but this is a little bit more important before you even get into that. So this is the philosophy, what fly fishing is all about, and if this is actually what you really want to do. So to start off, let's put it straight out there. Fly fishing is not easy. It's difficult. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to learn. But there's no excuse not to do it. But here's a conversation two guys were having on the stream. And this is definitely a conversation you'll never hear. Hey, that's a nice fly rod you got there. How long have you been fly fishing? Yeah, this is one of my favorite rods. Had this a long time. I think I've been fly fishing probably about 35 years. So I always wanted to get into spin fishing. I always heard it was hard. How hard really is it? Oh yeah, the spin fishing, it is really hard. It took me a long time to learn it. There's so much to learn about different types of rods, how many different types of line you have to use. That gets complicated, and the line management for this stuff. Oh my God, it took me a long time to get this line management thing down. Then all the lures you gotta learn to do. It gets so complicated. Oh man, and then, you know, it almost took me a whole year just to learn how to cast this spinning rod. So it ain't that easy. Wow, that does sound pretty complicated. You know, I think I'll just stick to my fly fishing. It is just so much easier to do. So, that's a conversation you'll never hear on the river. So let me give you a little bit of info about me. So I've been fishing pretty much my whole life. So my one grandparents had a summer house up in Lake Carmel, New York, right on the lake. So I was pretty much brought up on the lake fishing. So I started fishing probably like 6, 7 years old. I still remember having my Zipco 202 reel, fishing for all sunfish and perch and everything in that lake. Had a little rowboat, was always out there catching crappies and bass and stuff. So as I got older, in 1985, this place I was working had a guy there that fly fished. Got friendly with him, and he got me into it. So I bought my first fly rod in 1985. So now it's 2023. I'm 68 years old. I'm still fly fishing like crazy. So that's the one thing about fly fishing. It's a passion. It's something that you just not like just once in a while, I'll just go fishing. It's a passion that stays with you, that love of fishing. So also like if you're spin fishing and bait casting for bass and all that, I would say that's a sport. But fly fishing, it's a hobby. It's a passion. There's so much to keep learning. Every day you should be learning something. And it's something that you just don't just do every couple months. Oh, I think I'll go out and do some fly fishing. Then you'll never learn it that if you're just doing that. You have to be out there, and it's a learning experience, and it's a passion that you always want to get there on the river. So I see so many people that want to get into fly fishing because they saw some guy on the river. Oh, and they said, oh, that looks beautiful. I want to learn to do that. And they think, oh, if I can learn how to cast my fly rod, I'm a fly fisherman. And really, casting a fly rod is only a small percentage of really what fly fishing is about. There's so much more involved in it than just the fly rod. So it seems like everybody kind of looks at fly fishing as part of fishing for trout. And that's only a small percentage too, but fishing for trout is probably the hardest. There's a lot to learn about reading the water, types of water, the temperature, all the flies that are in there. Is it a merger? Is it a nymph? Is it coming up? Is it a wet fly? Is it a dry fly? So yeah, it gets involved. But also, maybe you're got a little pond behind your house, a little farm pond full of bluegills. That's the best way to use a fly rod too. I love fishing for bluegills with my ultralight fly rod. They're just so much fun to catch. If you have the bigger lake and you're on a boat, just fishing for bass, largemouth bass or smallmouth bass, you can use poppers and streamers. That's a great way to fish for bass. And then there's so many things you can fly fish for. You got in the ocean. Then you got, you know, bonefish, you got tarpon, you get bluefish, you got, you know, sea bass. No matter what it is, you can catch it on a fly rod. Even with freshwater, I've seen carp. Carp's another thing. That's big on a fly rod nowadays, and is very challenging to do. And I've seen people catch catfish on a fly rod. So it's endless what you could do. Once you learn how to do fly fishing or learn to cast, and you get to know all the little ins and outs of all the leaders and tippets and all that stuff, it opens up a whole new world to you guys. So let me show you some pictures of some of the fish I've caught. So there's some of my pictures of this different variety of fish there. As far from my biggest fish I've caught or my smallest fish I caught. I just wanted to put up a couple different species of fish there. So that's another thing I wanted to go through is, you know, it's, everybody's thinking, oh, I got to catch that big monster fish and get on the stream, catch that big fish. And that's, you know, it's all about, that's social media. That's all you see on YouTube, catching that big trout out of a small stream. And it really is, it's not that important. It's fun and it's great, absolutely, but there's nothing like getting on your small streams. And if I can catch 30 little 10-inch, 8-inch little trout, I'm still having a blast. It's all about catching the fish. And, you know, you tie a fly that you tied, and you caught him, and you got in the right spot and everything. Oh, it's so satisfying. It's great. So, these clouds just came in, man, and it's getting chilly. So now there's just so much stuff on YouTube about fly fishing, how to. There's hundreds and hundreds of video. But I think if you're going to get into fly fishing, the first thing you got to learn is tie a triple surgeon's knot. That's so you can put your tippet to your leader. That's one of the most important things, and there's so many videos on that, and I'll probably do that in my next video, talking about leaders and tippet material and the basics of stuff. So, and I wanted to go through, once you learn that and you learn about the different size leaders and get that and get the casting down, how to roll that line coming out, once you get that done, man, you can go do anything with that. But now I wanted to talk about the type of people that fly fish. There's people out there like me that, you know, I like learning how to do all this stuff, get on the stream by myself, and I fish. Then you have the guys, I love these guys that they got a lot of money. They do some high-falutin job in New York City, making tons of money. So they booked that airplane flight to Missoula, Montana. They get a 5-star hotel. Then they book like 2 to 3 nights, 2 to 3 days of float trips with a guide, which, man, that's a lot of money. So these guys, they know nothing about fly fishing. They know how to do that. So when you get on a guide boat, they just kind of just plop their fly out there. The guide tells them where to put the fly. The guide ties the tippet on. The guide ties the fly on, tells where to go, does everything, and even gives them the fly rod. They really have no clue how to do that. If they were on the river by themselves, they would be clueless. But these guys will catch some big fish, and they'll pose with all these huge, nice big trout they caught, probably from the Clark Fork River or the Bitterroot River out of Montana. And they're, I'm a fly fisherman. But, you know, they're really not a fly fisherman. You know, so it's what you want to do. It's just, I don't know how to say that, but it's just, you got to be true to yourself of being a fly fisherman and what it's all about. So now, you're a beginner. You're looking at a fly rod. So I would say, as a beginner, you want to do like a 4 or 5 way fly rod. And probably 9 foot is probably standard. I would go with that. And one thing for sure, you don't have to spend a lot of money on that. So you could easily spend $1,000 on one fly rod. There's no reason for that. I would never spend that much money on here. But some of the rods, like, here's a rod I have here. You can see that. But this is an Echo rod. This is a 7.5 foot 3-weight rod. This is a very favorite rod of mine. And I think I paid about $179 for this rod. Can't beat that price. The rod is probably the most important, and good fly line is the most important. The fly reel doesn't mean crap. It's just holding line on there, because most of the time you're pulling the fish in with your hand. You're not gonna catch any really big fish, where you need a really good drag, like if you're in salt water catching a 20-pound fish. So there's no reason to be throwing a lot of money into it. So we'll get into all that a little later, but simple stuff like that. So just wanted to go through all that. Any other questions you got? What you want to see? What I should bring up? Also, I'd like to know if you are just starting to fly fish. Let me know what kind of equipment you got so far. Do you have a 4-weight rod, a 5-weight rod? I'm curious to find out for what you guys are fishing with. So anyway, all right, everybody. I think it's time to end this video here. I'm hoping everybody enjoyed it, but time for a beer right now. So I have this stuff here. Oh yeah, a Dunkel. We got to give this stuff a try. Let's open this bad guy up. This should foam up pretty good. Maybe not. Oh yeah, there it goes. So, oh yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. It's light, a little sweet. I like it, pretty good. I'm going to enjoy this beer. So, glad everybody had it. Hoping everybody learned something a little bit on this video. It's something everybody should know before the beginner video comes out. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next week, and comment below with all your questions, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.